You may need to know the following vocabulary in order to understand some of the terminology used in this video. Asteroid, a small rocky body orbiting the Sun. Large numbers of these ranging in size from nearly 600 miles across to dust particles and found especially between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter. Meteoroid, a small body moving into the solar system that would become a meteor if it entered the Earth's atmosphere. Meteor, a small body of matter from outer space that enters the Earth's atmosphere, becoming incandescent as a result of friction, and epiphany as a streak of light. Meteorite, a meteor that survives its passage through the Earth's atmosphere such that part of it strikes the ground. More than 90% of meteorites are of rock, while the other remainder consists of whole or partly iron and nickel.
The mythology of the planet Venus dates back to the times of ancient Greece. The Romans used the Latin name Venus, which means love and beauty, to characterize this bright planet. This makes sense because other than the sun and the moon, Venus is the brightest thing in the night sky. Amazingly, when Venus is at its brightest, it even casts shadows and is one of the only planets visible to the naked eye. Another reason the Romans chose the name Venus was because of its relation to the name Aphrodite, a Greek goddess praised for her beauty, love, fertility, and prosperity. Venus was the planet of Aphrodite in the minds of the Romans, and was in turn the daughter of Jupiter, Zeus's planet.
It is in fact impossible to know when and by whom Venus was discovered, because observations of Venus date back to ancient times and empires. These empires around the world documented observations, and each have their own beliefs regarding the mythology of Venus. However, some of the first astronomical documents found regarding Venus date back to 1600 BC by the Babylonians, and that the best guessed historians have that it was discovered.
Now, what is Venus exactly? Venus is a terrestrial planet that is not only the second closest planet to the Sun, but is also the hottest planet in our solar system. To start, Venus is approximately 0.82 Earth masses and 0.949 Earth diameters. Venus is also about 0.72 astronomical units away from the Sun, one of the only planets that has no rings and no moons. Venus's extreme density is 5.25 grams per centimeter cubed. It is also thought to be completely lifeless.
Initially, Venus may seem comparable to Earth because of its position, size, and structure. But not only is Venus a scorching inferno, there is one key difference. Unlike Earth, Venus has no water whatsoever. Venus's atmosphere is made up of 96% carbon dioxide, 3.5% nitrogen, and 0.5% sulfur dioxide, argon, and carbon monoxide. Because Venus's atmosphere is mostly made up of carbon dioxide, and there is no water on the planet to absorb it, the atmosphere thickens and produces a runaway greenhouse effect. So basically, when the rays and heat of the sun shine onto the planet, they become trapped in the dense atmosphere. It's believed that at one point in time, Venus may have had water, but it all boiled away because of its close proximity to the sun. Venus's toxic atmosphere consists of cloud layers that are almost completely made of sulfuric acid droplets and stretch upward from an altitude of 30 miles above the surface. These unusual cloud layers are spread relatively uniformly across the planet. These clouds close to the equator move speeds up to 350 kilometers per hour.
Venus's surface temperature is a blistering 854 degrees Fahrenheit, or 457 degrees Celsius, due to its toxic high-density atmosphere, which has also caused its surface pressure to be 92 times that of Earth's. At sea level, a pressure high enough to pulverize and crush Venus's surface rocks. Because of Venus's extensive volcanic activity, nearly 85% of the surface consists of flat lava plains that resemble basaltic maria.
Venus has huge volcanoes and mountain ranges, with one of them, the Maxwell Mountains, rising nearly 7.5 miles above surrounding plains. The planet's two great landmasses are Aphrodite Terra, which are iron, the equator to the southern hemisphere, and Ishtar Terra, which is in the northern hemisphere. Venus has an estimated 900 impact craters, all larger than 2 miles in diameter. However, its dense atmosphere has protected the surface from small asteroids and comets. The Magellan Orbiter has shown other surface features that are mainly pancake volcanoes, very thick eruptions of lava, and the coronae, which is the collapsed domes over the large magma craters. 85% of Venus composition is volcanic rock.
All of the planets in the solar system, except for Venus, rotate counterclockwise. Venus has a retrograde rotation, which means that it only rotates clockwise, backwards from all the other planets. This means that the sun rises in the west and sets in the east. Venus takes 243 days to turn once on its axis, and almost 225 days to travel once around the sun in orbit. As you can see, a day on Venus is way longer than its year.
Many probes were sent to explore Venus, but many of them didn't survive. So there are only a few that actually made it, like Galileo, Vega 2, and Vega 1. Galileo launched in October 18, 1990. Venus flyby, February 10th, 1990. Galileo flew by Venus on the way to Jupiter collecting measurements of charged particles, dust, and magnetism. Infrared and ultraviolet spectral observations, data for infrared lower atmosphere, maps, and 81 camera angles and images. Vega 2 was a successful probe and Comet Halley flyby. The launch date was December 21st, 1984. Venus flyby and gravity assist June 15, 1985. Vega 2 was identical to Vega 1. Vega 1, successful Venus probe and Comet Halley flyby. Launch December 15, 1984. Venus flyby and gravity assist June 11, 1985. As Vega 1 swung by Venus, it deployed a 2.5-meter balloon almost immediately upon entering the atmosphere. The balloon, which is measured at a temperature, pressure, wind velocity, and visibility of the atmosphere, covered 9,000 kilometers in 42 hours before it burst. Why we can't live on Venus. The main reason we can't live on Venus is because the temperature, and Venus's temperature ranges from 900 degrees Fahrenheit to negative 50 Fahrenheit at the surface. Also, the gases on Venus, its atmosphere has carbon dioxide, which is 95%, and also nitrogen sulfuric acid. Also, there are many different traces of all kinds of different elements. The surface is also rocky, dusty, waterless. It also has many mountains and canyons and mains with a 200-mile river at the hardened lava. Venus is covered with thick clouds that create the greenhouse effect, making it very hot.